Fantastic. I really can't believe that I've just lost 15 minutes of stream. We are back at it. I promise you, game two is underway already. If you missed game one, it is a tough spot to be in if you're going to be if you're going to be this New Orleans team, or I shouldn't say if you're going to be this New Orleans team, if you're going to be Charlotte, who almost had an opportunity to score right off the bat. New Orleans opened up game one with a 4-goal win here. Dondo is in an awkward spot. Ooh, Mellon couldn't quite get there and is able to be bailed out by Eric, who slots it just out of reach from this defensive stalwart team that is New Orleans. If you were tuning in, you did miss New Orleans put up 9 saves in the opening game and in turn shut out this Charlotte Comets team in a way that realistically shouldn't be uh, the best way to win. I mean, normally you want to control the midfield and maintain some softer touches, but New Orleans found a way to continue their bend don't break offensive scheme for their novice team that we saw out of week one, and in turn, it paid off well. Charlotte, though, came out the gate swinging. They had 11 shots in game one, and they've already got a good 10 here in game two. They figured out a way, though, to really keep this New Orleans team suffering without boost and diving for a ball that's just untouchable. I mean, incredible placement there for yet another goal. Wavy. Dondo getting a great kickoff here. Blizzy splits this as a favorable bounce. Cobb had elevated but couldn't quite get there. With only 36 seconds left to be played, if Charlotte can just keep this out of New Orleans' control, they might be able to actually walk away with a 1-1 equalizer. Dondo can't quite get the read off the sidewall. Cobb elevated quickly. That's a good 50 to drop it back down in center. And Blizzy splits yet another 50. Charlotte does not want to open the door back up. They don't want to let one more goal in and in turn allow New Orleans the potential chance to force OT. Dondo elevates, couldn't quite get there. Blizzy with a diving touch shoves it straight to the ceiling, and in turn, that is going to call doom here for this New Orleans squad in game two. Ah, goodness. I'm kind of flabbergasted. I am really surprised that after game one, with how well game one went in favor of New Orleans, that Charlotte was able to play almost like the Teflon man. Let it slide right off. Nothing, don't let anything stick. Don't let the negative vibes get you. And in turn, you can go around and turn it around and take game two. But they kept more of the same, at least. They kept the pressure. 11 shots here in game two. They had about 10 or 11 shots in game one. It's just better placement. Realistically, it's better placement. It's making a better touch. It's not letting the ball get away from you. And it's putting in a spot where the defender really has to either dump a lot of boost to get to, or quite frankly, can't get to it all. So, great play here by Charlotte for sure, as this now forces game three, and we are definitely not getting a 3-game series. So we will get into game three here. Let me jump back to some Rocket League action. We'll go ahead and go back to spectate. It's so weird not wearing a headset tonight because I'm getting a lot of audio feedback. I don't know what's going on. I was able to figure it out, but if I wear headphones, I hear myself, and it's not great. Anywho, Cobb pass to Dondo. Dondo looks for the redirect. Wavy elevated quickly, is able to clear that away. Didn't even want to let Dondo, who scored 2 or 3 goals here in game one, put a shot on. I mean, you just don't let your offensive shooter or your opponent's best shooter take shots. Not a chance. Mellon gets underneath the ball. Not a lot of boost to follow or control it, so Wavy's going to be here to follow up. Puts it off the backboard here. Eric puts it a little bit wide. And now New Orleans can go ahead and start with their counterattack. Dondo, with the read on the first touch, is going to bail out, let Cobb follow as the 2-man. Smart touch here by Charlotte to put it down towards the ground. Ooh, great 50 stuff here. Leaves Mellon to take control again. Wavy with not a lot of boost elevates. This is a dangerous spot if you're Charlotte. If Dondo can corral it, that's a goal, but he can't quite get back to the ball. And instead, this game stays 0-0. Oh my, he tried to stuff it through Dondo, and that defensive presence. Oh, there it is! A great pass off the corner for Mellon allows goal number 1 here in game 3. They didn't want to let Cobb or Blizzy, who are both turned at a 90-degree angle away from the back line, take a good defensive chance, and instead jumped the gun, let their 2-man actually be established, which is what I've been begging for here. And in turn, we now see a faster level of offense from Charlotte, a little bit more trust, and it paid off here as goal number 1 is already in the books. If New Orleans wants to regain here, they're going to have to figure out a way to do some of their own action. They're getting great outlet passes, good redirects, but they're not able to really follow and take control here. Dangerous spot by Mellon, already able to put a shot on. Cobb with not a lot of boost is in a dangerous spot here. Maintain the flip, but it wouldn't have been workable anyways. 50 split. Wavy. A deep clear forces Blizzy to use a fair bit of boost to get up there. Eric bounces it off the corner. Donna with a deep clear. No, Wavy's already there. Cobb, not a lot of boost yet again, is caught off the back line. Started rotating out. Chose to almost try to follow this, not really reading that Wavy was already in the air. Wavy was chilling, waiting for that. Cobb. Eric, great kickoff here in favor of New Orleans, but Wavy gets the deep clear. There's not really a good 2-man scenario here. But, oh, is that a well-placed shot? Oh, my. Eric gets goal number 3 here in favor of Charlotte. Insane placement. Blizzy dove at it, really tried to cut down most of the angle from the shot and still couldn't quite get there. Auntie, how's it going? How is your night coming along? So we get some fine CSA Rocket League action going on. Great pass center. Blizzy from the heavens smites away yet what could have been goal number 4 for this Charlotte team. Wow. We might have to go back to that after this one. Just kind of take a quick second between the series to really show Blizzy coming out of nowhere. Mellon drops it down. Not really a lot of power behind it, but instead at least for Eric to follow. Cobb, I don't know why they keep going for the deep touches straight down the middle. It's not paying off. They're just getting shut down far faster than they can handle. And realistically, they need to take a softer touch as Mellon takes goal number 4 here in favor of Charlotte. New Orleans finding themselves in a deeper and deeper deficit here in game 3. Tough spot to be in for sure. Cobb, Dondo. Ooh, Dondo's off the ceiling. It's going to be dropping for Blizzy, who's there for the follow. Couldn't quite get back to the ball. So instead, Mellon's going to put this on target. Dondo shoves it to the corner. Oh, man, difficult spot to be in for sure if you're in New Orleans. The best thing you can do here is try to really regain and potentially salvage game 4, force a 2-2 series. I mean, 131, there's still a lot of Rocket League left to be played, but with the fact that there's not a lot of mid-game changing going on, it is difficult to mid-game coach your team to win without causing any form of chemistry issues. I don't foresee a great way for New Orleans, outside of some solid morale chances, to really regain here. Ooh, Dondo gets goal number 1. If you're going to start mounting a comeback, that's probably the right time to do it is immediately. Dondo, not a lot of boost, stays in the play, puts that back on, and keeps their aspirations alive here. As I say that, Eric slots goal number 5 for Charlotte. Ufta. Ufta is right. Oh my God. Blizzy looking for a kickoff here. If New Orleans can at least get a goal or 2 here and maybe attempt to start mounting some form of a morale shift, some form of a momentum shift here, they can potentially make a really raucous game 4 happen. but they're going to have to keep any form of negative morale that might have come from this game to a bare minimum. Also, they really need to focus on trying to collect a few more pads on the ground, because holy cow, the amount of times I keep seeing these back defenders without boost is dangerous. Maintain a little more boost, fellas. Stay in the play a little longer and be able to apply far more pressure right out the gate. Blizzy gets a deep touch. Wavy, though, yet again, a song as old as time itself. Elevates high and keeps the play alive. He's got the book down. He's got the plays read. He knows that their best play, the one they love to run all the time, is a deep outlet touch. Dondo elevates this, drops the center here. Eric looking for a little bit of gratuity here as goal number 6 was on the horizon. And in turn, it looks like we're going to see game 3 finally be put in the record books. It finally touches the ground. And the series score is now 2-1 in favor of New Orleans. If you've been watching this stream since the beginning, you know there was 14 minutes of no dialogue because my production is fantastic. Let's just say that. Anywho, when we get into it, though, New Orleans opened up the gate, 4 goals. They had 9 saves to shut down Charlotte's 11 shots. It was a tremendous level of defensive bend, don't break mentality, and it is just not translated back to the pitch. It is not happening here in a way that is super productive. I mean, they're going to have to get a little bit further out in front of the play. They're going to have to focus very heavily on maintaining midfield control, take a softer touch, and hopefully maintain a little bit more boost, collect a little bit more pads, stay in the play a little longer, keep the play alive, and stop just shoving it out for a deep, like it's everybody wants that beautiful redirect play, right? Get a deep shove, get a great redirect, but you gotta maintain control of the play. You gotta maintain possession, or you're gonna find yourself in a dangerous spot. So we'll see here. We'll see if game 4 is going to go back in favor of New Orleans. We'll see how it goes. Got our players rejoining the lobby here. As you can see from our series score already, 1 game separates Charlotte from victory. Getting a kickoff here from Blizzy, from Melon. That's going to drop straight down. Eric decides to take control, grab the 100, looking for the center, but is not quite fast enough for that. Wavy puts a shot on target already, letting them know right out of the gates, hey, we may have put 11 shots in game 1, 13 in game 2, and about 12 or 13 in game 3, but we're going to keep the pressure alive. It will be just another chapter of offensive presence here. Dondo leaves the ball, not a lot of boost, decides to delete the back goalie here. Dangerous spot here. Cobb, only 16 boost, decides to play it up a little further. Blizzy drops at center. Cobb, not a lot of beans to keep this alive, so Dondo is going to try and drop this center. Melon has control. Wavy and Melon, a little bit of miscommunication here. Neither has a lot of boost, so instead this is going to go to Blizzy's control. Ooh, Wavy cuts out the pass, gets the redirect touch right off the ceiling. Almost got a 3rd touch drilled right back into him, but Blizzy is going to be able to open up a little bit more offensive opportunities. Cobb, not quite the great first jump you wanted to take control, maintain possession. Oh, dangerous spot here, Cobb. Oh, Eric with the read, sees the danger that New Orleans left with an open door and dove in to shove that in for goal number 1 here in game 4. Now, this is the right spot if you're a Charlotte fan for sure. 1 goal here, series on the line. 3 minutes and 45 seconds, still a lot of Rocket League left to be played. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if New Orleans makes any major changes to the game plan. Cobb played up a little bit forward, not a lot of boost, but opted to give a good bit of aggression for the goalie, try to get them off the back line here. Ooh, Cobb couldn't quite put it on target here. Eric was in a dangerous spot, not even maintaining the back line. Dondo can't quite take the touch, is going to decide to rotate back. Cobb looking to put a pass off the backboard here. Blizzy can't quite get the touch, so Dondo's going to put it back into the corner. Very favorable bounce. Ooh, can Blizzy put that on? No, that's going to be wide and top left. No. Oh, God, that was a fantastic scoring opportunity here for New Orleans that falls lifelessly and unable to be capitalized on. Dondo, not a lot of boost, turns back into the play to keep this alive. Blizzy with the follow, looking for a center here. No, oh, there's a shot by Cobb, but Wavy, who plays super patient, sits on the back line, back of the goalpost, waits for the touch, and opts to use just a little bit of boost to clear that away with ease. Tough spot to be in for sure if you're a New Orleans fan. Bar down by Eric. Goodness. I'm a big sucker for New Orleans. I'm a big sucker for rooting for the home team. And I want to see these guys turn it around, but this is a dangerous spot to be with a 2-goal deficit. You were shut out last game, or at least it was a very close last game. I'm not quite sure what changes need to be made here outside of just maintain control of the ball. Wavy pushes it all the way down the pitch, wants to apply some pace to the play. Cobb catches it off that 50, drops it center. Blizzy is unable to get to it and keep it alive, so Dondo takes the second touch. Wavy puts that high. Melon looking for the drop down. What a pass! Oh my, if you are in the league, if you are watching these players play, you've got to understand how incredible that double touch pass from Melon is. I can't believe it. That just dropped it perfectly for his team to capitalize and take goal number 1 here. Cobb, Melon. Ooh, dangerous spot if you're in New Orleans here. Got to play for pride at least with a minute 30 left to be on the clock. Blizzy takes the really deep, aggressive touch. That's going to be high off the backboard. Cobb redirects this, but that's going to be wide anyways. But Melon clears it away. Doesn't even want to leave it to chance. Blizzy shoves it across here. Cobb with the follow. Blizzy trying to drop it back center. Cobb's going to be off the side, looking for a shot on target, but Wavy had that red dead to rights. Dono pops it high in center. Melon elevates quickly, clears it away. So many dangerous plays, 1 or 2 steps away from really being scoreable. Charlotte is rolling on all cylinders. They understand exactly where to cut out the play right now, and it is disgustingly well orchestrated. Goal number 4 here for Charlotte. Holy cow. This is definitely going to be wrapping up the series for sure, and we will move from Novice into the professional series. It's going to be the next step up here. Got quite a bit of players that are going to be shooting pretty close into that, to my knowledge, that C3 to upper GC1 territory. Some GC2s, I'm sure. Melon opts to take the clear, doesn't want to even let 1 goal end up on the stat sheet against him here in this game number 4, which should eliminate the series. Difficult touch here. Dondo's going to elevate, doesn't want to let goal number 5 go in. Ooh, dangerous spot here. Cobb pops that high. Melon, who doesn't have a lot of boost, is going to have to wait for his team to take the touch. First one is made here. I mean, they're kind of just playing for a gratuitous stat at this point, because this is definitely over. But great Rocket League all around. We will go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and bounce back to our caster cam. So, difficult spot, right? If you're in New Orleans and you saw series number 1 go out the books, tough spot to find yourself, but we'll see. There's a lot of seasons still left to be played. There's a lot of Rocket League action. There's a lot of chances for a replay, a replay organization or something. Get with your team, get some more games in, try to turn the season around. All the best for Charlotte, though, who took that series 3-1, and we should now be moving on to. Why did he put that in all caps? My boy. Oh god, I love that he put it in all caps. It really makes me feel fantastic. We are jumping in right into the action though. So as soon as I get loaded in, we're gonna bounce right back to Rocket League here. Pro Series already underway. So something we didn't talk about before, and I'm gonna have to go ahead and clear out our series score. For some reason, that really just hasn't fixed itself. Once I find out from the players what the series score is, I will get that updated for you. But like we kind of talked about before, we are no longer going to have teams really holding back and waiting for the next series to start. They're just going to be more so getting it underway. And then we jump in and catch most of, if not all of the back end of the series. Pineapple putting a shot on. Stank gets the clear to the side here. I will go ahead and shoot Pineapple a message. But that opens up 1-0. Savage gets a great 50, splits yet another. Miner trying to get a pass over to his teammate who just collected a 100 boost. Pineapple swats that out, doesn't want to let any form of offensive presence occur. Great demo. Oh my goodness. Another. Oh, wow. Stank 94 had to go through Pineapple to get that defensive stop. That is willpower personified. That is a player who's not going to be halted in their endeavors. Pineapple elevates past one. Stank 94, tough spot here. Miner. Oh, that's a dangerous touch by Vile as they almost redirected it back into a dangerous spot here for sure. Savage pops it off the ceiling. That drops down center. Vile looking for a shot on, but it's going to be cleared to the right. Pineapple, though, splits yet another 50 as Miner's there in the waiting. Dark Galaxies redirects it in from the sweet spot, playing right out of the vision of the defense. I don't know if you're Vile, if you even know Dark is there. Looks like we'll be getting another kickoff here. And what I can only assume is game 2, maybe 3. We are about, actually, it may only be game 1. We're about on pace. We only had a 4-game series out of the opener, so this might have been game 1. Great bar down by Vile, though, regaining right off the rip. Caught into an awkward spot before to let up goal number 1 from this Charlotte's team, and instead equalizes any mistakes they might have had with a bar downski. Vile, Miner, split the 50 here. Miner can't quite get the touch. Savage gets yet another 50. This New Orleans team is keeping the pressure alive. You love to see a player who just keeps going at it, doesn't want to let the play end, doesn't want to let the play let up, and just keeps going in for yet another 50 when it's very feasible for them to do so. Savage. Great touch here. Pineapple looking for the double off the sidewall here. Dark Galaxies pops high and to the side. Stank splits the 50 on the goal line. Pineapple, a little bit quicker than Dark Galaxies, is able to take control, grab the mid-100, gets the pop, looking to elevate over Miner, but can't quite get there. Miner had that pre-jump for days. Savage, leaving it for Vile, not a lot of boost, opts to back off the play. Danger spot if you're Miner. Oh, the no touch here from Savage leaves this now for Pineapple to try and stuff it through, and they do! That's goal number 3 here for New Orleans. If you haven't checked it out, there are quite a few other casters here for CSA. Probably your best place to get really solid competitive Rocket League action that really matters. I mean, these players, especially in a league like this, are playing to try and move up the table, get into that very top world class, and qualify for, I believe it's $1,000 prize pool this season. So Very, very important for a lot of these players. They're trying to really develop and hopefully in future seasons find themselves in that world-class tier and playing not only for money, but what I can only assume is going to be a tier C or at least a tier D Rocket League Liquipedia tournament. So we'll see here really how these potentially future stars play. Stake 94 splits a very favorable 50, leaves it for center. Vile has a great read on it. Savage, not a lot of boost, opts to take a very deep touch to clear out any form of offensive pressure. Savage dives at it again, collects the 100, gets underneath, splits a 50 with Dark, who wins the 50. Stank 94, dangerous spot here. Ooh, beautiful soft touch underneath. If his team was there, that probably would have been goal number 2. And instead, game number 1 looks like it's going to go into the record books as a 3-1 series. I really wonder. Let me just pop in here. Let me just type in the chat. That was game 1. Oh, fantastic. Awesome. So you know what? What you were looking at with Barl, not even not accurate. That is actually accurate. It was a one goal game 1. Oh, I'm not even going to grace you guys with my face. We are just going to focus right on these players here. I don't have my replay set up, so this is about what we are getting tonight. You know, it's a great start, but we saw it out of the Novice series. We saw the Novice team really go out there, ball out, shut out the opposing team, and really shut out the opposing team in game number 1, and it kind of fell apart at the seams, right? Like we really saw a team that was doing so well get kind of corrected upon, and I'm hoping that this New Orleans professional team will hold on a little bit better here. Vile looking for a deep touch to Savage. Savage, not a lot of boost. Off still to dive back into it and try to redirect it center. Instead, Savage pops this over. Stank 94 in the waiting, and that's going to be goal number 1 here in favor of Charlotte's pro team. Tough spot to be in with 22 seconds right out the gate. We'll see, though, how New Orleans responds. Savage, Stank, great name, by the way. Dive at the ball here and open up the game once again. Pineapple tries to take a favorable backflip, but can't quite elevate it over Dark Galaxy. So instead, Pineapple is going to have another chance here, dropping it down for Vile. Vile looking for the shove, but Miner is there to cut out the pass at the seam. Doesn't want to let that play develop at all, and I don't blame them. What a pinch. Pineapple looking for probably a soft pinch to get it high and center. Very readable for their team. Has just He-Man strength right out the gate. Savage pops us up high for Vile. Stank is already there. Gets the reset off the center, or off the ceiling. Is in the center at the waiting, but this New Orleans team does cut out the play, shove it back to the corner. Vile, great touch, drops it for Pineapple. Pineapple splits the 50. Another 50, met high this time, as Dark Galaxies in both sides really want to meet the ball as early as humanly possible. They don't want to give either team any space whatsoever. Probably the best way to play it, honestly, because you're getting into these tiers now with the Pro Series, where any player is going to have incredible ball control. And barring a few mistakes, they can really punish your play, for sure. Miner gets a favorable touch, pops it to the ceiling. Savage couldn't quite get the right angle on it, so it shoved straight into the gown, and Dark Galaxy is able to regain. Another 50, another split. Vile looking for a double. Oh, goodness. Almost an incredible play, and almost the best clip of this franchise meetup, if you will, between these two series. That double touch would have been disgusting. Pineapple has to play patient. No boost. More of an intimidator at that point. Savage Gets the first touch, gets shoved out of the way before they can make another. So Pineapple's looking for the shove over to Savage, who's going to be able to waterfall this down center. That pops very favorable. Pineapple putting it away, and that's goal number 1 here for New Orleans. Finally able to get back on the board after almost, actually a little over half the game being left out of the party. My brother, you want to be on the desk? I could not possibly deny you. Next game. You don't even want to wait for the series. You want a full New Orleans cast. Just New Orleans casters, hollow be damned. Oh, goodness. Galaxies has control. Great flick. Great backflip from Vile is going to push this back into the corner. Dangerous spot here. Vile keeps control, played it patient, waited, hesitated, made that defender look silly as he's able to get just enough separation between him and the ball to bait him into a touch. Savage gets the pop. The goalie is bumped out of the way. Savage puts this on target, but Dark Galaxies got back to it. Savage, if you weren't playing with it, that would be goal number 2. Oh, man. Especially when you're talking about players at this level, at this capacity. You cannot, under any circumstances, let them get this level of separation. You cannot let them get this level of control. Or this, goodness. Vile gets a deep pop. Minor, not a lot of boost, but a full boost, but a last man back was in a dangerous spot here. Great clear. Pineapple in an awkward spot here. Dark Galaxies pushes this up and across. Savage opts to collect the 100, leave the boost for Pineapple. Pineapple pushes it back to no man's land. Nobody really there to follow. Ooh, great touch by this Charlotte crew as they're able to clear this away. Savage, bit of a mistouch here. Vile, not a lot of boost to follow. Dangerous spot here if you're Charlotte to let Pineapple be possibly taking shots. Good touch by them to keep this alive. Vile, last man back, has to play this very smart. Pineapple, deep touch here. Minor, though, is going to have to take a third touch. Can't quite. Oh, my. Dark Galaxies able to dive and get back to bail Minor out of what could have very well been a sticky situation. Vile, great pinch to center. Holy cow. Vile, dropping it down for Pineapple. Nope, Savage is there. Pineapple's now going to follow. Split the 50. And that drops down to force overtime here in game number 2. Can't speak. Savage, with a lot of boost in the tank. Gets the first opening touch, redirects it, puts it into the corner. That's going to roll high in center. Stank splits the 50. Pineapple's there for the win. No, Dark Galaxies pops this away. Instead, we get a flick here over to Minor, though. Plays it patient. Third man bails out his team yet again as Charlotte holds on to a very strenuous defense. Dark Galaxies drops the center, gets the second touch, and that's game number 2 in favor of Charlotte. So now we have a 1-1 series score on the Pro Series. Let's go ahead and get my boy Dondo RF on the desk here. Brother, talk to your team. Gotta be your pro team. Give me just a quick second, people, as I'm going to go ahead and mute and try to fix my output issue here. Going. We'll see how I figure this out. Pineapple, Dark Galaxies, splitting the 50 here as game number 3 is underway. Miner shoves it over to Dark Galaxies yet again. Staying 94, pops it high into the corner. Vile looking for a deep clear, though, as Miner is there for the read, and Pineapple is able to clear this away yet again. Miner staying high up in the play, and Dark Galaxies is able to open up goal number 1 here in favor of Charlotte. Oh, man. Ooh, quick elevation here. Pineapple looking to drop at center. Miner with a whole lot of boost. Opts to take the pinch and shove this high in center. Savage Gnome tries to get a good clear here. Can't quite keep up with it. So instead, Dark Galaxies is going to be able to center this for his team. Vile, 58 boost in the tank. Pops it. Elevates over 2. Waterfall chance down. No, it's going to be a little high, and Savage can't quite get the touch. So Pineapple putting this off the backboard. What a defensive touch, shoving it through the offender and in turn off the backboard and clearing away the scoring opportunity. Ooh, Miner putting it back to the corner here. Vile, elevating quickly. Pops it up over 1. Looking for a second touch. Looking for a third. Gets it centered. Pineapple was ready. That is one thing I really do love to see about New Orleans right now, is they're establishing the two-man pretty well for that follow-up shot. They just can't seem to get it past the opening goalie. Pineapple. Not a lot of boost. Opts to rotate all the way back. Vile gets it over 1. Dark Galaxies has a bit of a mistouch. Pops it high in center. Follows it to keep that play out of the stat column. Another deep clear by Charlotte. Vile, a lot of ball control, was underneath, cleared out really quickly. Rolls up high and into the corner. Oh, man. I can't figure this out, Dondo. I have no idea why I'm getting output in my own headset. It's beautiful. Vile. No, it's my own voice. It's just my own voice. I can hear me, which is terrible. Stank 94, deep touch, not a lot of boost, follows that up to keep the play alive. More so a threatening voice in the air. Oh, Vile. Look, great idea. A little bit of a redirect action on your own shot would have caught that goalkeeper clearly out of place, but unfortunately was unable to get back to it. Vile has the 100. Stank, though, with a lot of boost already, is able to play that slower. Savage is... Oh, no. Stank cuts that out. Grabs the 100. Off the ceiling. Has possession. It's cut out by... Vile. There's a lot of action going on here. A lot of back and forth shoving. Neither side really wanting to give up what could be the potential dagger. New Orleans, a goal here means potentially forcing OT, taking the momentum swing and taking control of this game too. But if you're the Charlotte, goal 2, like you just got there, might be shutting the door on the game. I'll figure this out in the intermission, maybe. Pineapple deleted by Stank 94, a 3-on-2 opportunity, but Vile keeps this high and out of possession, keeping it away from any offensive danger. Savage getting back to the ball, a little bit of power friendship action with him and Pineapple. Miner puts into the corner. Very favorable bounce. Gets the second touch. Pineapple can't quite get a touch here. Dark Galaxies can put the shot on net. But Savage, not a lot of boost, is able to clear that away back to the sidewall. Drops it down to Vile, gets shoved. Stank 94 does not want to let any shots up at all whatsoever. And in turn, can't speak, Savage Gnome is able to push this all the way across the pitch. Dark Galaxies underneath the ball. A goal here would really help for the mental of New Orleans, at least regain, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get it. With 25 seconds left to be played, there's still too much offensive pressure coming out of this Charlotte side. A very favorable bump puts Dark Galaxies in an awkward spot. Savage Known pops his high for Vile. Minor keeps the follow. And in turn, we are going to see the end of game 2 in favor of Charlotte as they get a bar downski for goal number 3. A 3-0 is going to be a difficult pill to swallow. Ooh. Good spot here from Vile. Oh, that's going to be perfect. I figured it out, Dondo, so you can be on the desk now. I only had to delete my primary microphone as a source in OBS because I couldn't figure out how to stop it from monitoring and outputting. So, yeah, welcome to the desk, buddy. Difficult spot to be in for sure. Your franchise here had a little bit of a struggle coming out the gate, and I want to say here it's dangerous because we could be seeing nightmares following the Novice series. They opened up with game number 1 very much in their favor. Game number 2 here almost being totally wiped off the map. What are your thoughts here? What's your thoughts as the GM, my guy? Fair enough, my man. Well, we will get back into the action here as both teams are taking their places on the pitch. Now I can focus. Now these teams can actually, now I can actually focus on casting. I don't have to focus on trying to audio troubleshoot live at the same time. Oh, dangerous spot here. Savage Gnome played a little bit too far forward, and they could have potentially slotted that behind him, but the defender, number 4, the goal post, clears that away with ease. You know, Dondo, I do want to point out the goalpost is by and large the most consistent defender any team has ever had. Savage Gnome drops us down the pineapple. Ooh, tough spot. Savage Gnome takes control, splits the 50. Pineapple rotating back, shoves that into a dangerous spot that Vile now has to quickly pop as a pinch off the backboard to try and clear away. Great bounce. Minor in an awkward spot is unable to follow that as the bounce sent it back right to the moon and kept this out of a dangerous spot here. Pineapple has control. Is cut out by Dark Galaxies, who's playing patient. Stank dives over his own teammate. Says, I don't care if you're playing patient. I want the ball. Yeah, for some reason, your audio is not going through, and I got to figure that out real quick. Go ahead and give me like 30 seconds of B-roll. Legitimately, no, nothing. I don't understand it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it this way, Dondo. I'm gonna send you the video ninja link and the password, and then I don't need you to join with your camera. I just need you to join with your audio, and I will just make you your own audio source. That will probably be way simpler than having to fight with this nonsense. Savage rotates back, opts to play a little bit more defensive here. Game 3 is still 0-0. We've seen offensive fireworks here in Game 1 and Game 2 as both teams really just try to take the pitch aggressively. But Game 3 here seems to be more of that feeler out game, as I totally spoke too soon. Savage Gnome opens up the scoring here for New Orleans, 1-0. Ooh, tough spot if you are Charlotte. You did so well in game 2 to really keep New Orleans off the pitch and out of the play. And in turn, now New Orleans gets the opening goal. And with a minute 44 left to be played, you don't want to play too aggressively because it's going to potentially mess up your rotations and give the opponents a better opportunity to score yet again. But you definitely know that with the clock ticking, you have to find the equalizer pretty quickly, or you're going to be in a very, very tough spot here in game 4. Savage chose not to take the touch here for the shot and instead lets it drop. Vile can't quite get the half volley and put it on target, so this game's going to stay 1-0. Minor elevates, puts it over to the sidewall where Stank is at the waiting. Tough 50, puts it above Dark Galaxies, who gets deleted. Vile, who just collected 100 boost, elevates, has control, takes a light ceiling pinch, looking for the second touch. And instead, Dark Galaxies is going to take control here. No, Pineapple, my apologies. Pineapple fakes the touch, splits the 50 with Dark. Very favorable. He's already up. Savage, though, looking for the double tap off the backboard. Oh, if you're Savage, you need to get here for this, and he does. The diving save keeps this 1-0. Dondo, after this matchup, I will get you added in to VDO so that they can hear you. But for now, your entire New Orleans team is up, looking to put it on, and oh, goodness, Steak 94 with the critical mistouch. It looked like Dark Galaxies was going to be able to get back to the back corner. Like, that's an easy save if you're Dark Galaxies. A double jump, or even a jump with a back left flip clears that away, and instead Stank 94 slots in the own goal, potentially putting a dagger in their own team here in game 3. Dark Galaxies, Stank 94 went up with the power of friendship, neither able to put this away, and even though this is drifting high into the center here, Savage is going to be able to clear this with ease. Savage fakes the touch off the backboard. Minor has control. Stank could not get a demo on Pineapple, and Golm Brew, can't speak, can't read, is able to clear this back into the center. We're going to take just a 10-second audio break as I get my boy on the desk here, so it's not just my voice you're hearing. You'll get two casters on the mic. Let's see here. We'll do browser. Call that Dondo. Properties, control audio via OBS, turn off desktop audio. All right, Dondo, go ahead and give it a shout, my good man.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Well, it's showing that you're coming through the mic. We'll see if they can hear.
Let's see. Hopefully it is. So I'm not talking to myself into the void, you know?
Ah, there it is. There's my voice on the stream. Let's go. We've got two people on the desk. For the first time all night, we get two casters. It's not just your boy screaming into the ether.
Damn right.
Dondo, great regain, though, from your team here. as we get into game number 4, the New Orleans Nightmares professional team is now one game away from taking the series.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm able to cast the very last game. 2-2. They let two of the games get away from them after they won the first one, but they're able to recollect and honestly play some really solid Rocket League.
Fair, my man. Stank 94 here. Tries to get past Gomel Brew, but Gomel Brew or Vile is able to get this push center. Pineapple read that a little bit higher. That's going to be an outlet to Pineapple, who's looking for the touch, gets it over, but Dark Galaxies was able to push this shot a little bit too high and out of range of danger. So instead, it's going to stay 0-0. 30 seconds have elapsed, and that is already going to be yet another shot on target from this New Orleans team.
Yeah, it seems like they're coming out the gates feeling really good after coming back from that 2-1 deficit. It's because sometimes you win the first one and then you lose the next two. You're like, dang, the spirits are a little bit low. But once you're able to get that start clicking again, the teams they're following, they are firing on all cylinders. As we see Pineapple get a nice little clear over to their side, possible pass to Vile, but just gets swatted away by Charlotte. Vile with another possible pass mid, a mistouch, and a good bump from Galaxies to stop Pineapple from getting that shot on net. Honestly, boss, it seems like from the past few games, Charlotte has been the aggressors and getting a lot of pressure on, but New Orleans is giving it right back to them. I feel like in this last game here.
Well, and first off, do not fret if you have a misspeak. I literally streamed 14 minutes with no audio because I could only hear myself and nobody could hear me. It was great. Anywho, Dark, you're not wrong. This New Orleans team has really come out swinging. They've got 2 shots on. I believe last game they only had 5 or 6 shots in total, which normally you don't see. Normally you see the winning team taking at least 8. They're controlling a little bit more of the midfield and applying a fair bit more pressure. But instead here, we're going to see New Orleans finally establish a counterattack. Pineapple looking for a shot on net. Oh, not a favorable bar. Downski, defender number 4, the goalpost yet again, clearing away a shot with ease. Gomel Brew. I need to just go back to calling him Vile. Vile with a deep clear, looking for the off-the-corner pass to Pineapple. It's not quite high enough, so Stank 94 is able to take control. They don't have a lot of boost to follow, so they're going to have to opt for the bump here in Vile. Vile, awkward spot, tries to stop, cut out the play a little bit here, but Dark able to push this back. Vile takes the read, takes the catch, not able to get back to the ball yet again to get it away from Stank. So instead, with only 2 minutes and 20 seconds left to be played, we are still 0-0.
Yeah, it's really back and forth. It seems like from the front half, New Orleans had that offensive pressure, and then on this back half, it seemed like Charlotte is being able to get that pressure on them. A lot of shots coming out from both sides. As we see, my controller died, so I have to press tab instead of my controller. We have 3 saves coming from with 3 saves from both teams, and then we also have 4 shots coming out of both sides as well. I feel like both teams are controlling the midfield really well to mitigate, I guess, technically the shots being considered shots, but really good play from both sides. As we see Vile get a nice touch over, I couldn't see if it was Galaxies or not. As we see Pineapple with a possible 50, just not able to get it there. Savage Gnome trying to hold the back line by himself, as we see Vile with an amazing diving save and a good demo coming out from Savage here to give out a little bit of space, and Stank is just there on the goal line to save that shot.
Ooh, Pineapple.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say Pineapple puts it back in the Savage Gnome. Stank 94 looking for a center here. That's going to be a dangerous spot that Vile is able to go ahead and clear away. A deep touch by Savage. A redirect by Vile is a dangerous spot for Dark, who has to get at least some kind of touch. Chooses to split the 50, and now Minor taking a strong pinch against the sidewall. Clears it all the way down, but nobody is there to follow. Nobody to put a shot on target. Instead, we are going to stay yet again 0-0. 45 seconds left to be played. Vile gets a flick over one, not a lot of boost, but able to get past one defender. Gnome, not a lot of boost, able to drop the center. Dangerous spot if you're Minor. You got to get a touch here. Pineapple, I kind of thought Pineapple was going to go for a bump here, go for a demo, and is able to get goal number 1 here with only 26 seconds left to be played. If that's the dagger, that is a great touch by Pineapple earlier on to redirect and maintain possession for his team. I really thought he was going for a bump on Miner. Miner was the last defender. Nobody else really was going to be able to get back to the ball. I thought Pineapple was just going to be able to clear this away. Instead, we now see with 20 seconds left to be played, Pineapple has the opportunity to keep this game and series in favor of New Orleans.
Yeah, Pineapple was able to get a nice little goal there. Got a really good 15, was able to just sneak it right in the top of the goal. As we see a possible shot at foul, just hit it over the crossbar there. And that is game with New Orleans going out 3-2. Honestly, I wasn't casting the whole time, but I was watching an amazing series.
Well, do you want to jump in for your Superstar series?
Might as well. I'm here.
All right. Do you know lobby info already, or do I need to tell you?
Yeah, I already know it.
Okay.
As long as that's what it's supposed to be.
I think it's what it's supposed to be. I can't see I know because, I mean, last time I did, it was wrong, so we'll see.
That's right.
I am already loaded in here. I'm going to get my overlay reset a bit so it doesn't show any teams have any wins so far, because to my knowledge, this should only be 1 game in. It's about the right timing for it. Oh, Evan tries to get up and elevate for it. Instead, Nate is there with the read. Evan, second touch, looking for the flip reset. Can't quite put it on. Well, actually, that was definitely odd, but that was cleared away. Evan with the follow, coming from the sweet spot, is able to get goal number 1 here in favor of New Orleans.
Yeah, really good touch from Averted, and Evan, seeing that, was able to sneak in on that back post and just slide it right in past all the defenders. What an amazing play. As we getting off on this kickoff, we see Evan try to get a touch there. Unfortunately, couldn't get anything from it. Blocky trying to control up the wall. No... Can't speak. Blocky taking it with a nice little flick. If you can't tell, I've been casting the while. My apologies. As we see Averted trying to control it in the corner, but Nate's able to get a really good shot on that. And Averted with a great save. Another shot going on, and Blocky with a great save.
I'm not trying to be biased. I swear I'm not trying to be biased. But Averted, let me glaze you for just a second. What a diving save. Dono, I definitely did not think Averted was going to be able to get back for that ball, but what a flip, what a way to clear that away and keep your team's chances at winning this game alive.
Amazing defense from everybody, because right after that diving save, Blocky was able to get a great save right afterwards. So we're seeing really good defense coming out from New Orleans as Blocky with the crazy bump, but Dre was able to get that save as well. Man, this New Orleans team seems to be firing, dude. I'm not to glaze my own franchise, but like they're looking really solid right now. As we see Evan with a really good outlook with the shot, because nobody was back for that Charlotte team.
Brother, if you're Evan, are you coming out swinging? Apparently so, because Evan is just putting shot after shot on net. If you are tuning in at home, I am putting up the scoreboard here for a second, so you can see he's put 4 shots on target so far, on pace to put up 9 for the game. Incredible numbers for sure. Nate looking to potentially have a little bit of a rebound, a little bit of response, as Blocky takes a very, very well-timed reaction save, jumps up, elevates, clears that away, and is already now in command of the ball. Evan elevates, gets it over 1, gets it over 2, looking for the stuff through 3, can't quite get it there. Averted's in an awkward spot, dives back in, splits the 50, that pops it high in center, and instead Blocky dives in yet again. This Charlotte team, I'm not sure what's going on. If this is game 2 and we are seeing a continuation of what game 1 was, a beatdown, I would not be surprised as Evan finishes the hat trick. 2 minutes and 6 seconds left to be played in this game. I'm going to go ahead and send a message into their chat real quick and see what the series score is. But
they're up 1-0. They just let me know.
Oh, they just let you know they're already up 1-0. All right, I will
Yes.
go ahead and get that adjusted here on the bar. Oh, that should reflect for you, the viewer at home here. And in turn, we are seeing a little bit of a regain. Nate finally getting the opening goal here for Charlotte's Superstar Series team. And in turn, yeah, that's the. I
Um,
mean, if you're Charlotte, that is the right way to do it, right? I mean, obviously you want to score in bunches, but to play it a little bit more smart, put a well placed shot on, another well placed shot on there to potentially start the equalization. This is starting to turn into an actually really solid game here.
yeah, obviously we weren't able to see the first series and see what the score was, but we came in, I feel like, as soon as they were firing off, and now it seems like they are on the back foot just a tad bit. Um, and I guess to give a little bit of insider info, this is, I guess you can call it a brand new team because I did have to trade away one player, so Averted is brand new to the roster. And for them to be firing off this well, I'm very excited to see how the season's going to go. And they also won their first series 3-0 against Rochester.
Well, and I'll
So,
be honest here. Sorry to butt in here. No, God. Oh, what a missed touch by Clash. That's going to potentially be goal number 4 in
and a
favor of
great
New
block from
Orleans.
Evan. Good bump
Oh,
from Evan to stop
my.
that the defender too.
Sorry, I was going to get back into my thought process here. So, like, the player you traded away, was that your leading scorer, or was that just like another chemistry piece?
It was Aqua. He was I feel like a very viable part of the offense. Unfortunately, he had a squad he wanted to play with. Traded him away, and honestly, we're all about players having fun, and I'm glad to see that. I would assume this team is having fun because they are winning. I think winning attributes.
No, they're
Winning
actually really
attributes to having
mad.
fun.
They just hate it here, man. They hate taking the we're taking a dub. We just oh goodness. No, but for sure. Oh, great placement by Nate here to drop it just out of reach of the goalkeep. What I was gonna say though is when you pick up a player, especially as somebody who's GM'd or AGM'd in a different league before, when you pick up a player, even if they're not your main scorer anymore, somebody else can rise to the occasion. And it looks like Evan is really doing that here. 3 goals on 6 shots, just really targeting this defensive side. And even though Averted doesn't have any shots on target yet, if they're filling that chem space, which it really looks like they are, they're going to play well and they're going to take a lot of goals here.
Yeah, it seems like excuse me. It seems like they're playing very well around each other, rotationally, positionally wise as well. I just would like to hear what their comms are at this moment because as a GM, I hope they are, having really good comms and enjoying themselves.
Oh,
As we see Nate sneak that in with 11 seconds left, possibly the goal to send us into overtime.
man, that is an incredible play by Nate. It's it's always just beautiful Rocket League when you see a player that doesn't want to give up even when they're down. I believe they were down by quite a bit actually at one point.
1-4, I believe.
But to see Nate turning things around and really playing solid Rocket League is just beautiful to watch. Averted, the recent acquisition here, goes and gets the touch here to shove it back into the sidewall. Nate popping this high and over towards Evan. Evan gets the clear away. Nate takes another touch. Not really super beneficial. A lot of New Orleans bodies flying at the ball there with not a lot of boost. But we are going to see OT here in game number 2. New Orleans having taken game number 1 here before we got in with the stream. Averted. Takes a tough touch, puts it high. Evan's going to be looking for the double, maybe? No, can't quite get back to it. So instead, Blocky has to leave this for their 3-man Averted. Averted's looking for the boost, takes a wave dash, gets to the boost, can't quite stay alive. That's going to be high and mistouched. What a dive by Clashta. The 6th sense read to clear away another fantastic shot opportunity from New Orleans. And instead, we are going to continue with OT here, Dondo.
Dude, honestly, the pressure from New Orleans is insane right now. I feel like it hasn't left the blue half for about 30 seconds. Like it's everybody's getting really good shots, but Charlotte's also getting really good saves as well. What's going to break first? Charlotte's defense. I can't speak. Charlotte's defense or our offense. As we see a good goal. Oh,
man.
Evan with a really good save there, clearing it out for a possible pass play. Nate able to control it, try to keep it on their half. Blocky with a really good bump, even Averted by himself. got a good clear to wall. Maybe we can see who controls it from the wall. Evan, or not, sorry, Dre gets bumped while Evan controls that from the New Orleans half, averted, corralling it, maybe trying to get one more touch out for somebody. Both missing, unfortunately, as we see a possible double from Dre, just barely met. Honest boss, I feel like they're just switching places. Like New Orleans has having really good offense, and now Charlotte's also having that turn on offense. Like
Well,
it's a really good goal, or sorry, really good gameplay.
Well, and this is something I called out from the Pro Series, right? So the Pro Series, we had a lot of players who were taking deep clears. They really weren't getting a soft first touch. They weren't maintaining control of the touch or the control of the ball in general for possession. This is way different. We are seeing players who are taking a light touch followed off with either a backboard, a double opportunity, like here, Klashta getting a touch, putting it right outside the goal where a defender might have to elevate, dump a little bit of boost, clear it away, or at least try to clear away what could be a shot and then catch him off guard with that second. So it's just incredible plays from both sides, really looking for the extra touch, the extra little bit to get them over that hump. But both teams are playing just stifling defense. As I say, that averted, the recent acquisition puts it dead center on the goal, of which is going to be cleared away.
Really good
no,
pass.
Evan! The perfect drop down pass puts Evan, your Game 2 MVP by a metric mile, puts their goal in. Holy cow.
Man, what a great play.
God, I am shook. Evan is cooking on all cylinders. Evan is everything right now. 4 goals, 4 saves, 8 shots. I'm sorry, man. You might have traded away one of your biggest pieces of offense, but you've had the cream of the crop really rise to the top here in Game 2, and another win here is a sweep for New Orleans in the Pro Series, or sorry, Superstar Series. I got to put some respect on their names.
No, honestly, really good Rocket League coming out from both sides here. It was just a lot of back and forth with Evan just hammering that ball on net. Even
You're good, man. You're good. We have time. We can talk about the game. It's not a big deal, broski. Life's good.
Ready. They want to go, and I don't want to hold them up.
That is fair. That is fair. Unlike in a lot of lower tiers where a little bit of alteration to your pace of play and maybe a small break might not necessarily be that big of a deal. In upper tiers, especially when you have all the momentum in the world behind you, you've just won the first 2 games, you don't want an extended break. What is it? A minute for RLCS is your timeout time? 1 minute?
Yeah.
And you get a minute between games on the clock as is already. So they definitely know they've got them on the ropes. They want to play fast. They want to play hard. That could be a shot on here. No, a little wide, and New Orleans will stay goalless after the first 30 seconds. But, yeah, your team's hungry now. No, I can tell.
Oh, as we see a really good play shot coming out from Dre. Unfortunately, it seems like with both these teams being as good as they are, just one misstep and one really well played shot, I feel like can catch out any of these teams here. Really good offense from both teams, really good defense from both. Is just, can you take advantage of those small mistakes or those small missteps that each team are going to have at some point?
Ooh, Evan, your Game 2 MVP by a metric mile. Oh, no. What a redirect. What a pass. Nate placing it just in the perfect spot to penetrate that New Orleans defense and just set up Klashta with a fantastically placed shot on the left-hand side. They are here. Teflon players for sure. Nothing from the Game 2 sticking in the mental. Nate pops it high, elevates quickly. Evan cuts that out, doesn't want to let that shot develop, but Dre able to follow. What a flip reset to catch that goalkeeper who left the wall a little early off guard. Insane.
New Orleans had the upper foot coming into the second game. They had the score lead. Now it looks like Charlotte wanted to take their place this game. It was a really good shot coming out from Dre, and honestly, really good team plays coming out from Charlotte. Is New Orleans going to be able to fill those gaps and hopefully see a really good pass play here? But Averted was just a little bit out of place there, as we see Evan coming up with a really good touch, possible shot, just kind of hit it bat averted. Man, it's just there's so much happening so quickly, but he was able to just miss that save and clashed it with a really good shot there. It seems like they're making these small mistakes again. Averted, or sorry, not averted. Blocky just missed that ball for 1 second, and Clash was able to capitalize on that. Do you think New Orleans will be able to come and take this back, boss, or what are your thoughts on this game?
I really don't know. I mean, the problem with superstar play, right, is it's totally going to be momentum based, but it's also going to be a lot of chem. Some players will say, hey, chem's not that important. You can play with anybody. But you're seeing right there, right? So we saw Averted set up for a fantastic pass opportunity. Oh, dangerous spot as Clashta takes yet another goal. What I was going to say is, like, we saw Averted set up with a fantastic cross pass and instead opt to back off the ball. Even though you're 3-man, even though you're maybe like a low 2 and you really want to back off and play some solid defense, you have to have faith in your teammates. Go up for the ball. Take that shot. Let the next player establish 3-man. Just take it. And right now we're seeing this Charlotte's superstar team really play a bit more trusting, a little bit more ready for their team's plays, and in turn they're able to establish a stronger offensive foothold.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that does come with time. And as we said earlier, Averted is a new acquisition, so they are trying to work out their kinks. And honestly, with 3 minutes left, I feel like anything could happen, as we saw them firing really well last game. So I guess we'll just have to see if they're able to turn this game on its head, as we see a really good pass coming out from Evan, Blocky with a good touch, and a really good shot from a really hard angle from Averted.
Oh,
Blocky with a really good bump as well.
I was going to say, you got to talk about that bump. Evan clearing out Dre, the last defender, and opening up a protractor level angle on a shot. I mean, that is disgusting. And you're not wrong. With 2:42 left to be played, a 4-goal deficit is not impossible. But when you're playing against players that really aren't super streaky, you're playing with players that are really going to be consistent. They're really going to be getting the same touches day in and day out. I'm not sure if that's a very feasible gap to come back from. Blocky. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say not feasible, but as we saw, Charlotte was able to take advantage of small mistakes coming out from New Orleans. I feel like New Orleans could possibly do the same as well, because once again, unfortunately, Averted didn't pop it high enough, and Clash was able to capitalize on that.
Bro, you've got to stop caster
curse.
Stop caster predicting your team, please. I'm begging you. Stop punching down on your team.
I will stop.
Blocky clashed a little bit of a kickoff here. Ooh, tries to get the redirect, put it on target. Evan's going to follow. That's going to be goal number 2. Worst case scenario, right? If you're New Orleans, the worst thing you can do here is roll over and give up. I like to see New Orleans coming out with the mentality of, hey, we're going to keep scoring. We're going to keep doing what we can and hopefully regain a little bit of mental here going into game 4. I wouldn't even really apply too much pressure to yourself in trying to win game 3 here. I would really focus on game 4, but mostly focus on, okay, what's working, what's not. Let's make some adjustments and go from there. Averted isn't able to get the touch they wanted here. It's going to be high and too wide for Blocky to follow. Looks like Dre tried to follow, get the touch here. Quick elevation by Clash to shove it high into the side. Going to go off the backboard. Missed touch on the double touch. Leaves it in an awkward spot here, as now Clashta has to take yet another dive back into the play and keep it alive. Evan gets through one. Gets into a 50 with the second, but not quite through, as this bend don't break team from Charlotte just won't allow them to get goal number 3 here. Evan, high and wide, unable to be followed for a very good shot without busting out yet another protractor goal. Double commit here. Both players up. The pass from Blocky would have been perfect center if either of them had stayed on the ground and waited for that pass. But with a minute left to be played, Dondo, I don't necessarily see a great path forward.
Yeah, kind of. As we see a really good angle shot from Averted. I was gonna kind of talk about what you had said earlier. Like, as long as they keep that momentum up, and bring that into that next game, they don't have to win this series. They don't have to win it right now. As long as they keep their head up high, keep those plays like we were seeing in the game 2, honestly don't see a reason they shouldn't be able to win game 4 to clinch the series out. I see a really good shot coming off from Dre here. Just came off the post as we see Evan try to take advantage of it with a possible pass out. Nate able to sneak that in with a double commit from Clash to Blocky controlling it in the corner here. Possible one more touch mid for somebody. And Evan, just careens off the crossbar with a really good touch coming out. And honestly, boss, it feels like their spirits aren't, defeated, even though they are down 3, and they are trying their best to try to keep that momentum going into this next game.
Oh, that's what I was saying. Like, they really shouldn't let this game affect them too much. Let it be more of a lesson here where you go into the next game with okay, well, that didn't work. They reacted this way, so let's make some minor adjustments. Nothing too drastic. I mean, games 1 and games 2, it worked out pretty well. Let the game naturally come to them, and hopefully they can regain going into game 4. I mean, they did score 3 goals. They were shut out at one point, 4-0? And then they've come back. I know it's 6-3, which isn't that much of an improvement. But when you go from being shut out to 3 goals on the board, you really remind yourself and your teammates, hey, we can score 2. Don't worry about it. Let's go get back after it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, still being able to get really good shots on target, able to come back with 3 goals, only with a 3-goal deficit. They just have to figure out what they need to do to stop either those double commits, stop the missed touches, or whatever was really like keeping them from scoring more goals or getting scored upon. So we'll just see what kind of adjustments they make and going into this game 5 or game 4. Sorry.
Whew. Dondo, dangerous spot if you are Charlotte for sure. Like, yes, you just got game number 3 on your side. You just won game 3, 6-3, but you're still down 2-1. Any game from here is elimination. There's no room for error. There is a lot of pressure here to be had.
Must feel really good for him though. 6-3 against the team that just did, or I don't say they did really well. They went into overtime and lost by 1, but both teams going that hard on that game too, and then able to come out 6-3, even if they are down in the series, might also give them that little ride that they need to possibly take this series as well. If New Orleans loses that momentum they were gaining in that back half, as we see Evan with a possible double tap here.
Brother, I thought Evan was going to get a redirect touch off that player's defense. I'm not going to lie. I had a lot of faith in that shot.
Oh, that would have been a really good first shot coming out from this 4th game. As we see it go up, Nate, possible pass mid with nobody there. Evan try to get outlook to averted, but just a little bit too hard. Blocky trying to control it, was able to get a touch off the ceiling to get down to averted. Nate controlling it in the mid, couldn't get that flip reset as Evan tries to control it over with the really good look for a possible passing play, but Nate just able to clear it off their back wall. Another good look. Man, New Orleans seems to be in form again with that offensive pressure.
Don't glaze your team. Don't you do it. Don't set us up for failure here.
Stop it. Averted with a really good pass to Evan. Possible? No. Averted with a pass. Man, boss, this is really good. 1 minute in, 0-0. Who do you think has the momentum? Who do you think
I'm not making a prediction. I am the caster curse extraordinaire. Whoever I predict is definitely taking an L. So we'll just focus on the gameplay here. Evan rotating back. Dre takes a very simple shot. Not a lot to follow. Danger spot for Nate, who has no boost really in the tank. Has to turn and dive back at it. Nate, who just collected 100, takes the first touch, has control, gets underneath, gets it past averted. Blocky splits the 50. Wow, what a screaming shot or a screaming touch across the pitch here. Blocky with the follow. Has a lot of boost in the tank here. Not a whole lot of control there. Dangerous spot. One of the things that worked out very well was not only the control that they had in game 2 when we tuned in, but the establishment of the 2-man. The way for another player to be there ready for the shot. Oh my goodness. Blocky really looked at the shooter coming from the mid pitch and said, averted, I don't need you here, buddy. I'll take the Doomsday all day.
Really good patience seeing that defender. I believe it was Dre, wasn't pushing out of net. He definitely could have either touched it out, but I think that Doomsday really caught him off guard. As we see New Orleans going up 1-0 going into this with 3 minutes left, we see Evan try to get a clear, able to control it to the wall, maybe get a touch midfield, just missed it. Averted, trying to get a touch. As we see Blocky going for a possible clear with no boost, just not able to get a touch. This New Orleans starving for boost here, as we see Averted with a really good 50, trying to hopefully give New Orleans some time, collect some boost, get their bearings underway. As we see Nate with a really good look and Averted just in the right spot to get that save. Blocky, possible pass to Averted. Averted takes control of the wall. Nice touch there. Try to get it to Evan. He just wasn't able to get that bump and or extra touch to get that goal into the net. As we see Clash Stub. Honestly, God. Not sure what was going on there.
that was a very tight on the goal line back pass to catch your goalkeeper off guard. Your goalkeeper was definitely caught off guard. If they would have been able to put that on target, that's a goal. I'm not gonna lie. That is disgusting to take right there in front of your opponent's goal with no room for error. I mean, that requires a lot of faith in your team for sure. Averted, popping it high and off the backboard here. Evan elevates quickly. They're going to try and keep this alive. Very favorable waterfall. No! Averted with the bad read. And Blocky tries to put it back on target. And instead, difficult spot that New Orleans finds themselves in. That could have easily been the dagger. 2 goals up with 1:30 left to be played is a difficult spot to overcome. And instead, the redirect opportunity cut out. Dre keeps this play alive here. Blocky off the ceiling. No boost for the follow. Is able to clear this away. Nate has control. Klashta underneath. Blocky unfazed by the offensive presence. They weren't able to get the demo. So instead, New Orleans still has control of this game here. Dre gets the high pop. It's going to be center. Averted underneath. No, that's going to be drop center. Need to get it cleared away. Evan, dangerous spot here. Oh, perfectly slotted by Dre in the top right to equalize game 4 here.
Yeah, it seems like Evan jumped off just a tad bit too early. Got him a little off center, wasn't able to get that save, but a really good position or shot positioning coming out from Charlotte. Top right corner, really hard to save if you're not in the right position. As we see Blocky with a pinch coming off the sidewall, was able to get a second touch. Get a clear from Charlotte. Averted, trying to get another touch, but gets demoed. Blocky try to get a pre-flip touch to mid. Ooh, what a great pinch coming out from Nate against Evan, as Averted's able to get a really good touch out. Blocky trying to get another one, as we see New Orleans trying to establish their offense here. Dre with a really good control in the air. A possible was able to just barely get that save coming out from New Orleans. Another overtime going into game 5. You couldn't ask for more, boss.
This ball still hasn't touched the ground yet. It finally does, and yes, you're not wrong. Game 4 OT here. Incredible spot. I'm not going to lie. If this New Orleans team can take the dub here for this series, I might have to give the series MVP. Put Evan on the back burner, put Averted on the front, because Averted's last second save on an incredible fake from this Charlotte team is critical, right? Normally you have faith in your teammate, you let the ball go, but the fact that he's like, look, you cover high, I cover low, that level of thought process this late in the game when so much has occurred, so much has happened. Oh, there it is! Evan puts the series away for New Orleans.
What a great shot. He was able to get it off the crossbar, off the post, into the net. What a great series coming out from New Orleans and Charlotte tonight. And yeah. I will go talk to my team real quick if you want to talk to stream for 2 seconds.
For sure. I got to get lobby info actually for this world-class team. I finally get to cover a world-class matchup here. So we will take just a quick second while I pop into the live caster cam. You get double of our stingers here from CSA. Nice shout out for CSA here. They have been fantastic in the opening week. We have a lot of great action to be watched. If you're not enjoying what you're seeing here, there's 3 or 4 more games live on the CSA website, right, or on the CSA Twitch right now. So definitely tune into them. Go watch that. Shout out to Rob. Thanks for putting this all together. But I'm going to go ahead and start working on getting lobby info from this world-class lineup, and hopefully we can catch some incredible gameplay. Ooh, I hope they used the... Uh-oh. I'm hoping they use the same queue up here. We're going to cut the commercial break. We'll be right back.
All right, boys. Like I said, if you need anything from me, holler at me. And I'm back.
I finally figured out lobby info for World Class. I am in World Class now. I don't know why it took me so long to figure out that. I'm not saying the password live on stream, but I'm just pointing out I can't believe it took me so long to figure out something so simple. It is tied 2-2 though. Yep, it is incredible. I am going to go ahead and shoot a message to the team here. Well, actually, I'll wait till the game is over. Remix gets a deep touch down the center. Haha, getting a long clear. Fours wanted to be there, but instead Phoenix redirects it over to Remix. And we're seeing a lot of really just powerful shoves from players who, by and large, are at that incredible peak, right? You're talking players who are effectively at CRL level. Players who are just incredible in all facets of the game. Oh, wow, what a read by Monster to see that control from 4 off the ceiling. Instead, Haha tries to get up to 4s, but with no boost, 4s is in a dangerous spot here. Remix drops it down to Phoenix. Phoenix. Can't even speak.
Phoenix. Did you just say feet picks?
Feet picks. That's crazy. 4s. Underneath the ball here, not a lot of boost. Opts to split the 50. That pops high in center. What a touch by Aqua to shove it through the defender. Looking for a double tap off the backboard, but can't quite get back there. Instead, Aqua, no boost, pops it up over the second. 4s is going to put that high. The bump on the goalie. The shot on by Haha. That's not a joke. It's goal number 3 here for this game. And now I got to find out what the series score is.
Sorry, the way you said "ha ha." With
man,
shot from "ha ha." All right, 1-0.
1-0. Hey, me resetting Barl actually paid off. We'll cut to... Actually, we're going to go ahead and hit ready up. They're going to want to jump right back into the matchup, and I really don't want to keep them from their gameplay. It's even worse than before, Dondo. We've moved on from superstar to world-class players. These are your cream of the crop, the players who easily are going to drop any kind of clip you want to see any given match night. Are you excited to see now that your team is up once again 1-0?
Oh, yeah. World class is definitely... like you said, the top of the team, the top of the game, CRL level. Most of these boys do play in the CRL. If not CRL, a lot of them try to play in the RLCS qualifiers and go really far. This is going to be the top tier gameplay you're going to get out of CSA coming from any franchise. So it's going to be a really good game to watch. As we see Haha try to get a touch from the corner, just able to get there. Aqua, good touch, good control coming out. 4 is able to clear it away. As we see a nice touch and a good control from Remix. Try to get a double here. Just was a little bit off. But the really good shot coming out from Phoenix was able to just sneak in and get that touch on net.
Well, that's a great way to regain from game one. Open up scoring in game two, 1-0. Hahabu Remix getting a kickoff here. Fours already up the pitch, able to push that forward. Monster, no, no surprise there. Monster is able to get it popped over one. The fake by Aqua to get past the second almost opened up an offensive opportunity, but with not a lot of beans left in the tank, that's going to have to drop lifelessly here. Phoenix elevates. Monster takes the handoff, the baton pass, if you will. Haha shoves it through. That's not going to quite be a waterfall, but Remix doesn't want to leave that even up for a chance. Aqua. Oh, Aqua still controls it, pops it over the goal keep, and slots it for the equalizer.
Ooh, is just about to try to back pass that to Fours, it feels like, but he stopped himself, and Aqua thankfully was able to corral that straight into the net. Man, great control, obviously. Like I know it's kind of obvious to say, but it's coming from the top tier, you're going to see the best control on the ground and in the air coming out from both teams. It's just high-level gameplay at its finest, right?
For sure. Aqua keeping that high level gameplay applied. Oh, the friendly pinch. Oh my gosh. We almost saw the first actual successful power friendship usage in tonight's matchup between these two franchises. Aqua takes the pinch off the sidewall, leaving it for Phoenix. Hahabu elevates, tries to get through Monster, but Monster pops it up, takes control for his team. Phoenix shoving it all the way back to no man's land, though. Fours just collected 100. Aqua with a deep touch. Monster quickly elevates, puts it back into the corner. And it's, even though it's 1-1, even though both teams have drawn blood so far, it really does feel like both teams are still kind of trying to figure out their opponents, as Phoenix gets a light, lofty touch over two and just out of reach of the third.
Yeah, I feel like New Orleans, they both try to dive, and unfortunately they weren't able to read the touch Phoenix was getting on net. He's coming out with 2 goals from this Charlotte team as we come in with 3 minutes left with a really good shot coming out from Boo. Aqua trying to get a touch in the corner, just not able to. Unfortunate bump coming out from Fours and Aqua as he tries to get a pass mid for Boo to come up. Unfortunately, isn't able to get that touch, and I think Remix will control this straight into the net, coming out 3-1 for Charlotte. It's just a lot of back and forth, it feels like.
Well, and it is what it is. Both teams have a lot of offensive firepower waiting in the tank, right? These are both teams are full of players who are no slouch on the pitch whatsoever. And we're seeing just both teams really flex their muscles. Charlotte getting the better of New Orleans in game 2 so far, but with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to be played, anything is still possible. Shout out Kevin Garnett for that one. Phoenix dropping it down. Fours, not a lot of boost in the tank. Has to get the touch here to bail Haha out of a difficult spot. Ooh, can Aqua redirect? Oh my, Aqua looked for the back pass. And if that was just a little bit stronger, that would have caught both defenders off guard. It opened up goal number 2 for New Orleans.
Yeah, it was a really good look coming out from Aqua, just trying to barely touch it, but Charlotte was able to see that and be able to clear it out for that team. As we see Fours trying to get a touch to keep it in front of the net, wasn't able to, as Monster goes through with the demo from Boo and a demo for Fours. So Aqua's going to try to keep this ball on the offensive half to let his teammates get some boost, gather themselves. Fours with a really good 50 from Monster. Boo going up for a touch, possible pass to Aqua, goes up off backboard for a possible double touch. An amazing shot coming out from Aqua here. Man,
Brother,
this is
any other tier, and I would be like, oh, I'd be out of my seat. I'd be taking a lap around the room. I'm like, oh my! But it's hard with world class to not kind of like, you get desensitized to the double touches, right? Because you're used to seeing all these players just slot incredible second taps. But it's gotta give credit where credit is due. Incredible shot all around. Remix tries to split the 50, get it out of the corner. Fours is elevating, wants to keep this play alive, but Phoenix shoves it all the way down the pitch. Aqua has control, looking to get another touch there. It does. There's a redirect touch off the backboard. Aqua for the follow, can't quite pinch it through the defender. And with Hahabu getting an accidental touch here from the defender, Phoenix is going to be able to, oh no, Haha swats that away and just clears away a joke of a shot, apparently.
I hate you.
Haha is
Corny
easily my
dad
favorite.
puns coming out from Boss here.
Haha is easily my favorite player by far right now. I'm not even kidding.
As we see Aqua try to get a play established coming out the corner. Phoenix able to get a stop to it, get two pretty good 50s, remix with the outlet pass, give his team a little bit of time. Four is able to corral it back into the corner, not able to get that second touch as Aqua tries to take a shot with a possible pass going to Boo. A really good save coming out from Phoenix. Man, it's hard to cast world class, honestly, boss. It's just so back and forth. It's touch here, touch there, pass there, and great touches coming out from both sides. As we see, Charlotte was able to get that game 2, taking the series to 1-1.
Well, and you're good. I mean, you say it's tough to cast. I'm not lying. I'm not lying either. It's the same thing, man. I've been casting for a hot minute, quite a few seasons with a few different leagues, and seeing how fast the ball's moving, how well they're playing, how well they're looking for that infield pass. It's incredible to watch, and holy cow, everyone readied up already right off the rip, so you don't even get to see my face anymore. We're going to get right back into more world-class action. Game 3 underway, or getting underway here. The series tied 1-1, and my God, these players just really know what to do here. But it looks like we're going to be getting a kickoff here from Fours and Monster. Fours unable to stop the onslaught as Phoenix is able to follow. Monster had just enough of a pop here. Monster gets another touch here, is able to clear away, and then the New Orleans stop. Can't speak. Phoenix with a deep touch here. Haha corrals it, gets underneath one. Not a favorable bounce in favor of either side here, but Fours had the perfect read. I'm not going to lie to you, Dondo. The amount of times that's bounced like that in a game I've played, and I look at it dumbfounded like, holy cow, it does that? And Fours had that read like it was a Tuesday walk. I'm not going to lie.
Honestly, with a really good, he just was able to save it off that post right in front of the net, but Charlotte was able to clear it out as we see Haha with another touch mid. And then Phoenix unfortunately popped it up for New Orleans, but Monster with a really good save. Remix going up, gets a nice touch. Phoenix a possible double, but Aqua with that backboard defense able to grab it, control it, and just take it down the field as we see him touch it out mid. Monster able to stuff Haha. Four is coming out with the clear. Phoenix, another shot on that with Remix messing up Aqua. I'm not sure if that rubber banded or what happened there, but Remix just threw his body in front of it and was able to mess up Aqua a little bit and not able to get that save.
Well, and Aqua had just enough of a touch that it actually changed the color of the trail on the ball. So we know contact was made. I don't know if it was just with a tire or what was going on, but they weren't able to actually clear that away. And goal number 1 does indeed go for Charlotte. New Orleans, though, responding rather quickly, putting the pressure on immediately. Haha looking for the elevation, gets it over 1, looking for the 50, the drop down center. Fours, though, a little bit too far back. And even with that shot on from Aqua, it just wasn't quite dangerous enough as the goalkeeper was able to clear that away.
It's coming. Another great shot coming out from Fours. New Orleans offense seems to be doing really well, but Charlotte's defenses seems to be doing just a tad bit better as we see an onslaught coming out from New Orleans, but no goal came out from it. As we see Remix try to clear it out mid for his team, but nobody was there. Fours takes control and goes up to the air. Phoenix and Monster were able to corral it away from the net as Haha is trying to do something with it. Remix taking control downfield. Shot or a pass off the back wall, just a little bit wide for Phoenix to be able to do anything there. Haha controls as Monster hits it out to the midfield. Aqua with a double touch to get it back into Charlotte's offensive or defensive half. And man, honestly, maybe it's just because I'm ass, but it's hard.
Hey, watch the profanity there, brother.
You can say it on TV. I could say it on stream.
That's crazy. Anywho.
Maybe it's because I'm cheeks, but it's hard to. With a Monster just snuck in, dude. It's just, I don't know, mind blown still. World class is just that great to watch.
Well, I mean, did you expect anything else from the players that really set themselves atop the player boards? Haha Boo, though, with their opening goal, incredible read off the rip, is able to shove that over. None of the players even want to watch that replay. They know that was a lot of luck involved. Instead now, Tough split. Monster takes the pop over Aqua, leaves a bit of an open chance here, but Haha had quickly gotten back on defense. Aqua, no, Fours actually is going to take yet another touch here. Remix puts it back for Phoenix. The demo on Haha left the goal wide open, and instead, this is going to be cleared away. Fours with the follow. That's a high touch here. Aqua tries to redirect this back down in the center. Haha Boo in an awkward spot, gets the shadow defense, elevates quickly, clears it away, and instead we are going to stay 2-1. No! 3-1 in favor of Charlotte here as game number 3 is starting to slip out of out of the way of New Orleans.
Just a little bit. With 143 left, 2 goals down, it's not the greatest look, but it's definitely not impossible as we see Phoenix get a nice little dribble play going. Haha was able to get a stop on it. Aqua touching it out. Monster corralling it with a possible pass play going to Remix here. Just wasn't able to get that angle. Aqua 50 down the field, maybe a pass mid. Haha just wasn't able to get that angle going for it as we see Aqua try to go for that shot, but Remix was there. And Fours with the really good shot. It's just back and forth, boss, back and forth. And similar to that Superstar series, just taking advantage of those small mistakes that happen. Charlotte's just able to capitalize on what New Orleans is doing.
Well, and you can see, right? Like you see in lower tier something that's almost comical is that they fight the force of the ball. They almost use their own force to try and stop the way the ball is moving. But you can see here in world class, and especially with a lot of top end talent, they use the force of the ball to actually generate more force on it and just kind of redirect it a little bit one way or a little bit another. We see so often defenders will actually just almost go for a psycho, shoving it off the backboard. As we see here, though, with 25 seconds left to be played, it is a very difficult proposition in any tier of play to come back from a 2-goal deficit, let alone against arguably some of the best players on the planet. Monster gets the pop high in center, elevates, looking for the touch. That's going to be wide, tries to get the follow, but can't quite get back there. So with 5 seconds left to be played, game 3 is pretty much in the record books here as Charlotte takes a 2-1 series lead over New Orleans.
Yeah, they're gonna have to figure out what they did in that first series if they have to recollect themselves if there's miscommunication or
Right, but like one of the things they really got to figure out is how to slow down Monster. Monster's been getting a lot of fantastic touches here right off the rip and cutting out a lot of passes. I don't know if that means they're going to have to just shove the passes a little bit faster or what the game plan is going to be there, but they got to figure out a way to cut Monster out of the defensive rotation to hopefully open up some more offensive chances for themselves.
exactly.
I'm not sure if that's going to be a demo. I'm not sure if that's going to be just maybe trying to keep it to the side of the pitch where he's not at, but you almost got to treat it like Darrell Revis and just kind of avoid him a little bit. Haha Boo. Awkward spot here as Remix pops it up high. Monster, the man we're talking about, puts goal number 1 on the board already. Only 17 seconds into the game, and in turn, we could potentially see the finishing of the series here, Dondo.
Oh, it's definitely possible. As if Charlotte is able to keep New Orleans scoreless, it could definitely be the last goal that we're going to see tonight, and the series will be over. But I do feel like coming from world class, the games would be a little bit higher scoring, and obviously coming from a GM standpoint, I definitely hope they can score a few times and bring this back. But you just never know coming out from these players. As we see Haha with a really good 50 going towards Monster. Four is not able to get a good touch going forward. Haha pops it up. Four is able to corral it, possibly get a pass play or something going for New Orleans offense. It just doesn't seem to be going as well here as we see Monster taking a ball up the wall. Four is trying to kind of contain Monster as Aqua comes up from the corner, gets a pass, 50s remix. It just seems like New Orleans can't get any offense generated. Like, I'm not sure if there's more passing that needs to be involved or kind of what they need to do, or like you said, maybe shut down Monster as we get a really good redirect coming out from Remix there.
That is impeccable angling. I mean, if you're Aqua, you think maybe I've got another second, at least one or two, before I can corral the ball and grab the 100 boost. But what an incredible touch here by Remix to put that on target. And you're not, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, right? That goes into what makes one team better than the other. There's no one thing you can really fix. There's just some basic concepts you can target. But all in all, there's a lot that they're gonna have to kind of figure out. Like, hey, why is this Charlotte team able to get so many passes? Why are they able to elevate it over our defenders on the back line? How much faster do we need to play to really offset this without causing too many own self-inflicted mistakes? And that's a difficult thing to do because players don't necessarily play at many different speeds. They've got like a fast and a slow, right? They've got like a couple gears. It's really tough to be like, okay, we're going to tweak it and go a little bit faster. We're going to pick up the pace a little bit and not make too many more mistakes. But we'll see really how they're going to figure this out. It is 2-0. It is a difficult spot. Monster's looking to put it up as goal number 3 and does. What an incredible redirect, as Monster is just head and shoulders above the rest of the lobby right now to place it. That is perfect placement. I don't know if you could place that shot any better.
Monster's just a monster. I don't know what to say. It's just they have to try to contain him, stop him from letting him do what he wants to do. I feel like in order to try to bring this game back, 2.5 minutes left in the series, 3 goals isn't impossible, but it's definitely a hard uphill battle to fight as we see Haha try to get a pass mid. We're able to get it to Aqua. Force controls it out of the corner with a really good demo coming out from Aqua here. Haha's got a little bit of time to maybe get a pass play going with Aqua try to pre-flip that to get it back to Haha. Monster.
Yeah, they were looking for a little bit of. Sorry to interrupt there. They were looking for a little bit of give and go action.
Yeah, try to optimize those plays to hopefully try to cut a couple of those players out of that defensively. I feel like would be their best bet. We see a bump coming out from Aqua, but Phoenix able to get a touch going through this. Haha with another demo. Not able to get a 50 there. It's just I said it once, I'll say it again. They're just not able to establish offense this game or the series, it seems like.
Well, we'll see here. Phoenix allowing the deep touch, ain't able to get back to it. So instead, Aqua's going to be able to put this center here. Haha chooses to kind of contest that early on and in turn is swatted away with ease. I wonder if maybe a couple more hesitations, throw some curveballs, would maybe offset this almost lockdown defense that's currently going on from Charlotte. Monster, though, who's been playing incredible off the air, has just put another shot in the back of the off the air. Yep. Oh my, Monster is absolutely disgusting with the ball here, as they have recently, I don't want to say recently, they've really risen to the occasion in this series in general. Hahabu looking to drop it center for Aqua. That's going to be wide and not a lot of power behind it. I wonder, with 54 seconds left to be played, really if there's even a chance to score here. It seems like you're not wrong. They're struggling to generate offensive in general, but then you also have Phoenix, Monster, and Remix playing possession. They're not letting the ball get away from them. Their touches are fantastic. They're soft. And then when they need to, they're firing lightning passes across the pitch as Phoenix almost stuffed a defender.
Hopefully we can see something coming out from Haha as we see a really good demo coming out from Aqua, and Boo was able to get that double touch at the last second.
I just realized the one thing I never changed the entire stream was the stream title. Good on me. Goated production for sure. Someone's going to lead the league.
not even last week.
That's so funny.
A little bit of chirping coming out from the Charlotte side, as you're going to see a lot of times from these high-level games. And
a lot of these players know it's all in fun. Like they know
Yeah.
you don't get to world class with the understanding of demos aren't, that important. They're not that prevalent. So it's what you're getting into. You know you're going to get demoed if you're sitting stationary. That's definitely got to all be out of love for sure. But that ends our series. We don't have anything left to stream because world class is it. That's the creme de la creme. That's the top. That's the peak. So, Dondo, your franchise now tonight has gone 2 for 2 on the series. You guys lost the outliers. You lost your novice. You lost your world class, but your superstar team really performed well. Same with your pro team. So I think all in all, it's a good night. I don't want to gas you up too much, but we're gonna go ahead. We'll rock it off the air. It's been your boy Boss Radala here tonight. We've had Dondo, the GM of New Orleans here, and we are gonna go ahead and call it. We will catch you guys next weekend. See you Sunday.